Hello there. This is just a short informational video about how the weapon setup of Drumroll works, how it's all fitted in together. Starting off with the weapon motor, we've got the Speed 900 sitting there. That was just from an online model shop. The motor itself came with this, it's some form of steel or composite plate. The pins here that hold the motor on, they're a bit brittle. One of them broke off in battle earlier, but it's useful to bolt on. It's quite a ready-made solution for attaching to your robot. I've got it fixed in at 2 points here and there. They're just two M6 threaded bolts that are tapped into the nylon chassis. Get that bolt running through the rear bulkhead, inner bulkhead, and that one at the front there is going through the cross bulkhead that runs the entire width of the robot. Then got on the motor itself, we get the timing pulley that provides the transmission from the motor to the weapon. It's just held in place by that grub screw there. That one just stops any slipping happening between the bore of the pulley and the motor shaft itself. We've then got the belt. Simple belt from, I think it was RS Components. Just provides the connection between the motor and the drum itself. That bolt in there, that's the tensioner rod. Again, it's just an M6 bolt that's tapped through the chassis. That one there just goes through the nylon, an M6 thread tapped through the nylon, and it's got a nylock nut there holding in place. Nylock just handy for the vibrations, doesn't come loose from the vibrations of the drum. There used to be a what's the word? Needle roller bearing. That's it. There used to be a needle roller bearing sitting about there, again held on by another nylock nut, but that nylock somehow managed to come loose. I don't think it was on properly, and the needle roller bearing fell off it in the arena at the UK Champs, and I've not really seen it since then. So the belt itself at the moment is just running underneath an M6 bolt, and if I just feel underneath that, all the threads actually been worn off the bolt by the belt running under it. Not the best idea because it will wear down your belt. It's good to have a much lower friction tensioner to keep the belt running nice and smoothly and freely, and so it doesn't wear anything down. So that's how the motor connects. The drum itself, there's a hole in the chassis there that goes all the way through, and the same at that side, and there where the shaft of the drum slides through, and just in the top here, that hole there, and that hole there. There's two M5 grub screws that are threaded in there. You can't see them; they don't quite come out the top of the nylon chassis, but they just act as rotational stops, so that once the shaft is in, once the shaft goes through the hole, that grub screw gets screwed down onto the shaft and prevents the shaft from turning, and also from side to side rotation. Now we've got the main weapon itself, the spinning drum. It's just a bit of stainless steel tubing that's 3mm thick. If we turn it on its end, we've got one timing pulley on one end there, and another one on that end. I was originally going to use two motors to power it, but it was overweight, so I had to take one motor out. The teeth on here are 15mm thick hardox that has been milled into the shape of teeth with a matching diameter, inside diameter of the matching the drum itself. So these teeth all just slid over the drum and were welded in place. I've got two there coming in one revolution. And if I rotate the drum halfway around, there's one at either end to free up the bite a bit, to try and act as a one-tooth effect drum, because you get more bite in it when you're attacking your opponents. At the end of the drum, the timing pulleys just bolt on, 4 bolts there, bolt onto the end of the tube, which has stainless steel end caps in it. Can't really see through there, but that lip a shiny lip that's just around the inside there, that's part of the stainless steel end cap. And just inside there, I don't know how well you can see, but they're the needle roller bearings. Them in there. They just keep the friction down when the drum's spinning in the shaft. Means it's not rubbing too much and you get more efficiency in your weapon. They're held in there. On the far side of the bearings, there's a small lip on the end cap that stops it from going all the way inside the drum. And on this side, obviously, we've got the timing pulley that's stopping it from coming out that direction. Now, to fit the weapon in place, it's just a case of lining the drum up in the recess, which is interesting to do one-handed while holding a video camera. So that goes in there. The belt, timing belt on this side, just need to wiggle it around the timing pulley underneath. I think that's it in place. Yep. Then we've got the shaft, which, as I say, slides in the holes. And again, this will be interesting. I'm going to sit the video camera down for this one. So I need both hands. So you just need to lift. I just need to lift the drum up to the height that the hole that goes through the drum just needs to get lifted in line with the shaft. And you have to wiggle the shaft through it. Not the best fit, I have to admit. There's some engineering flaws in the build, in the construction of this chassis. So it needs a little bit of TLC now and then. Right, there we go. More of a struggle than it probably should be. The new Drumroll hopefully won't be as difficult to make work like that. If you just, I don't know if you can see in that hole there. That there is the edge of the shaft on that side, and we just, is it? You see just in there, the edge of the shaft on that side too. Those ends just get held down by the grub screws that I mentioned earlier, there and there. And then normally on the old shaft there were two bolts, one going through there, one going through there, that threaded into the shaft of the drum and held it in place. Now the shaft that's in just now is a new shaft I just got today from Technobots, so I've not actually got any mounting holes fixed in it, but that's normally the last bit of the fitting the weapon that I would do, just securing the two grub screws and the two threads at either end, and then the drum is free to rotate on that. It's normally a lot more friction free than this. I can normally spin it by hand and it runs for a while, but I think there's quite a lot of tension in the belt. Yeah, the tension is putting quite a lot of strain on the belt, so it's not running as freely as normal, but as soon as the motor spins up, there's enough power in the motor to overcome the friction. And that pretty much is the weapon setup for Drumroll.